Hey guys, it's John here. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden microcosmos of sea monkeys and other instant pets. Today I'll be doing an unboxing and review of one of my favourite sea monkey kits, the Sea Monkeys on Mars tank. This is one of the most popular and longest running novelty sea monkey tank designs, and one I've wanted ever since I was a kid, so I'm super excited to set it up with you today. Sea Monkeys on Mars was first released by Explorer Toy in the year 2000, and as the name implies, it features an orange Martian theme, with a small spaceship and floating sea monkey astronaut figure. This set came out 1 year after its companion tank, the Sea Monkey's Magic Castle, which had a similar domed tank shape, but instead of the Mars theme, it featured a pink castle and ocean reef substrate. My guess is that the Magic Castle tank was probably marketed towards girls, while the Mars tank was released a year later as an option for boys. Stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can win a free Sea Monkeys on Mars or Magic Castle tank that I'll be giving away to one lucky viewer. These two tanks were the first time Transcience had come out with cylindrical sea monkey aquarium designs, which I imagine was quite groundbreaking at the time. Before this, there hadn't been too much deviation away from the standard Ocean Zoo style tanks, so these new ones, which had a unique shape and theme, were a bit of a gamble. It certainly paid off though, as the Mars and Magic Castle kits became wildly popular, and 22 years later, they're both still being sold today. Not many people know this, but there are actually 3 different variations of the Mars tank that all have slight changes made to the base and paintwork. The first, which appears to be incredibly rare, is the original Sea Monkeys Mars Mania tank from the year 2000. The front of the base simply says, "Amazing Live Sea Monkeys." This tank was then updated to the second variant that I have in this box here. This time the base was changed to say, "Amazing Live Sea Monkeys on Mars," with darker paint behind the lettering. And finally, the third and most recent variant of the tank, where the base now says, "The Original Sea Monkeys on Mars." It appears that there's also been a bit of a paint change with this modern tank too, where the colours have been simplified and a yellow waterfall with a small lake at its base have been painted in. I asked my friend Todd Machin if he knew anything else about the history of this tank. Todd is the official illustrator for Transcience, but he's also a long-time fan and collector of sea monkey products. Todd told me that he actually designed the small astronaut sea monkey figure in the tank, and it was originally supposed to be planting a flag into the Martian soil landscape. He was kind enough to share his original design sketches with me to show you all. This idea was later changed though to its current design, where the astronaut is floating while being tethered to its spaceship. Todd also has a rare yellow pre-production prototype of the Mars tank in his collection too, which is super cool and not something I'd seen anywhere else. I love seeing all this behind the scenes stuff, so thanks as always for your unique insight into these products, Todd. I had a bit of a look online too, and I found one photo of a rare packaging variation from the Mars tank. It has 2 different astronaut illustrations on the box. The first is similar to Todd's early design, with the flag being planted, and the second shows the final concept with the astronaut floating from the spaceship. Before making this video, I was having a bit of trouble trying to decide which of these 2 box sets to open up and review for you guys, so I thought, screw it. Instead of opening up one, I'll just do both. The packaging between these 2 kits differs a fair bit, but the contents is almost identical. The older one is more open and displays the entirety of the box contents very clearly. There's some beautiful sea monkey paintings on the sides here which I really love. The colours and dim lighting create a great atmosphere, which I think does a really good job at capturing the Martian theme of this tank. Flipping over to the back, and we have a picture of the box contents and some interesting information about sea monkeys and their history with the United States space program. I especially like the inclusion of this painting of a sea monkey driving a dune buggy. It'd be great to see a Sea Monkeys on Mars racing game at some point in the future. The box for the new version of the Mars tank is much more square in shape, and the accessories that come with this kit are hidden from view in a compartment above the tank. The Martian themed artwork on the sides is a recreation of the same illustrations we saw in the older box, though rather than being painted, these ones appear to be digital art. I do personally have a bit of a preference for the older style painted artwork. It reminds me of old school sci-fi book covers from the 80s and 90s. The back of the box is quite straightforward. It has a simple photo display and a diagram of how to start your sea monkey colony. Let's open both boxes and get these 2 tanks set up. As with all sea monkey aquariums, this kit comes with the 3 packets needed to begin our sea monkey colony. The ones from the older set don't say Made in the USA on them though, which I believe is because this particular kit was sold by Big Time Toys. Big Time Toys were a company who licensed the Sea Monkey brand, but also decided to illegally produce these pouches. Fortunately, the whole issue was eventually cleared up in the courts in favour of Transcience. Something I love about the Mars and Magic Castle sets is that they've both always come with an aqualeash pipette, which is my favourite accessory as it's great for both aeration and also picking up your sea monkeys to move them around. And here are the two tanks. The mould for them is identical, it's just the paint job which has changed. The older one is more colourful and has a metallic looking paint, while the newer version is a bit more monotoned. I really love the textured Martian decor in this tank. The rock looks like a great surface for algae to grow on, and the two small arches are a nice addition too. It'll be fun to see if the sea monkeys ever swim through them. The little spaceship and floating sea monkey astronaut is a really nice touch. I've heard online that the astronaut's thin plastic tether is quite delicate though, so it's important to be careful and not accidentally break it when you're aerating the tank. The small round lid for the top of the tank doubles as a magnifying glass. It seems with the newer version that they've updated it to include air holes. I personally won't really be using these lids though. I prefer to just leave them off to make feeding easier. For the setup, I'll start by adding in distilled water. I get a lot of questions about which kind of water is best to use. I personally always use distilled water because in my experience it's the best option, but regular bottled spring water works really well too. Next I'll add in packets number 1 and 2. I always add these two packets in at the same time because it doesn't really seem to make a difference, and I'm just a little impatient. It's always important to add in the entire contents of these pouches though, to make sure you get all of the eggs into your tank. The included aqualeash is a great tool for dissolving all of the salt crystals, though stirring with a teaspoon also works fine. Now I just need a good spot to keep my tanks over the next few weeks while the sea monkeys grow. This windowsill only gets about an hour of direct sunlight in the mornings, so it should work well. It's spring in New Zealand at the moment, so the weather is starting to warm up a little, but it's still too chilly for my sea monkeys. They thrive best in temperatures around 26 degrees Celsius, which is 79 in Fahrenheit. I'm going to add in this small USB powered aquarium heater, which allows me to regulate the temperature perfectly. Luckily the hole up top is just large enough to accommodate the heater. I have a USB powered air pump here too, which I'll be adding into the tank. It'll give the sea monkeys a constant flow of oxygen and also keep any food particles in suspension in the water column where they can be easily eaten by the baby sea monkeys. I'll leave an Amazon link to both the heater and air pump in the description for anybody who's interested in getting them. I'll check back in with you guys in a few weeks for an update on how the tanks are doing and to give you my review of the Sea Monkeys on Mars tank. Hey guys, it's been 3 weeks since setting up these tanks, and I'm pleased to report that both colonies have established themselves in here really well. There are plenty of adults now, and they've even started having babies too. You can see there's also a fair amount of green algae growing in them as well, which is a great sign. I decided to put a few purple grow lights above the tanks a few days after starting them, because I found that getting a healthy colony of algae established in the tank is the single most important element for a tank's long-term success, so I always do everything I can to encourage its growth. After using the Sea Monkeys on Mars tank for the last few weeks, I have a few thoughts about it. I'm happy to say that my experience has been overwhelmingly positive, and I can see there's good reason why this tank has stood the test of time. Firstly, the design. The Martian theme is just really cool. In fact, it's my personal favourite sea monkey tank design that I've used so far. The dynamic orange landscape looks great, and its rocky texture has been both ideal for algae growth and also simply just watching the sea monkeys swimming around it all. I'm also a big fan of the spaceship and astronaut figure. It adds a fun element for the sea monkeys to interact with. And it reminds me a lot of the Sea Monkey astronaut from the NASA Space Shuttle kit, which is a cool little similarity between the two tanks. My only gripe with the Sea Monkeys on Mars tank is the shape. While the dome design does look cool, it's not really ideal for viewing the sea monkeys, as the curved plastic distorts the view a little bit. It also made filming the close-up shots for this video quite tricky. Other than that, there's nothing else I can really complain about. Something I've noticed in the sea monkey community is that a lot of people who get involved in the hobby often want to know how they can move their sea monkeys into a bigger aquarium. Something I would absolutely love to see from Transcience in the future is some larger versions of these tanks. Perhaps even the exact same design, but everything scaled up to have 3 times the water volume. I'd love to hear your suggestions down in the comments too. Now I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I'll be giving away a Sea Monkeys on Mars or Sea Monkeys Magic Castle tank to one lucky viewer. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on this video. I'll pick a random winner in late December when I get back from my work down in Antarctica, and I'll announce the winner on my Instagram account and get in touch with you here on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. To those of you interested in getting a Sea Monkey kit of your own, I've put an Amazon link down in the description with a bunch of affordable tank options and all of the great accessories I mentioned in today's video. Ask me any questions you have down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.